And welcome to the Wednesday Night Sports Show here on the ENET Sports and Tuscola Football Network and all the other places it goes to. We got Jonathan with us. Trevor's has a little technical difficulty. He'll be back in just a second. He was here and he's gone. And up in New Jersey, we'll have Dr. John Taylor. Was it 2 years ago, Jonathan, or last year? The National High School Athletic Director of the Year in the United States of America. Most people around here, they remember John. John went to Western, got his doctorate at High Point. One of the best guys ever, sports guy through and through. His biggest issue is he is a fan. He lives, breathes, and dies the Seattle Mariners. And he won't watch the NBA because they stole his Seattle Supersonics, and he literally hates them. He does. And yeah, he hates them with a passion. Trevor's working on getting his mic fixed on his laptop. So we got a lot of stuff to talk about. So much has happened in the past week and a half in college football, in the sports world in general. And while we're waiting on Trevor and John to get on here, and behind me is the NBA game. Here in just a minute, once we start, we're gonna watch the World Series behind me. Can you imagine what's happening if Toronto wins Game 5 tonight? Been a good World Series so far. The Blue Jays and the Dodgers. Can't say enough about Ohtani. You know, you have to start there. And I know that I've always said, and I still believe it right now, I love the history of sports, especially the history of baseball. And a lot of times when I was in school growing up, Jonathan, I can tell you these things now. We would be in history class or we'd be in math class, and I would have a book over there reading about like the history of baseball and my studies that I should. So, shame on me. Hey, Trev.
So I think we figured it out.
So anyway,
it was technical difficulties because of the hat.
The absolutely. Hat. You already know.
But I've always said that and it's still unquestioned. The greatest player to ever play the sport was Babe Ruth, bar none. There's it's not even anything to debate. It's not even a debate. Babe Ruth was the best that ever was.
No, you cannot say the greatest ever was. Here's what you can say. You can say he was the greatest of his generation, because generations change. Are you going to sit here and tell me you put Shohei Ohtani against guys throwing 82-mile-an-hour fastballs is not hitting 1,050 home runs? He's the greatest of his generation. Babe Ruth,
the greatest player that ever lived, is Babe Ruth.
I get it, but I'm just saying and that goes for every sport though. Babe Ruth didn't see 102. He didn't see 102 in fastball.
Of course, but again, if you put Babe Ruth in today's world with the training and the technology and the food, he's Babe Ruth. I don't want to hear it.
He drank beer and ate hot dogs. It didn't matter what training he did. Or didn't
but in 2025, he wouldn't be doing that.
You can't say that he wouldn't do that. You can't. That's what his personality was.
So anyway, don't make me kill you. Don't make me kill you.
We're off to a hot start.
Oh my God. Okay, so let's get back to the World Series. 2 games apiece. Game 5 is in Los Angeles tonight. You're going to have Game 6, which is going back to Toronto. They got home field advantage. But I've always said, and when you were a kid, I always told you, John, the most critical game in a close series is Game 5.
Well, yeah.
Especially, so I know that they're going on the road day after tomorrow or whenever it's played. But I think, whoever wins tonight has advantage. And the Dodgers are not playing well. And they're not scoring well, besides Ohtani.
And I get it, but here's the thing: regardless of who
Freddie
wins,
Freeman,
regardless of who wins tonight, that atmosphere in Toronto will be unmatched at Game 6.
Yeah.
As a fan, the only thing that I can hope for is a Game 7 extra inning game. Truth, these were the two best teams that could have played in the World Series, top to bottom.
I hate to agree with you because I don't like agreeing with you, but I will agree with you. You're absolutely correct.
Like that.
But
listen, I've watched games. I coached in Toronto. Me and Tasha have went and watched a couple games in Toronto when they were not good. They just weren't. I can only imagine that atmosphere. It was a good atmosphere when they weren't good in the Rogers Center. Now, and that being like Toronto takes or the whole country, Canada, but Toronto takes such pride in their sports because you got the NBA with the Raptors, you got the Blue Jays, you got the Maple Leafs that are all playing in the quote unquote American major leagues, if that makes sense. They're you know what I mean? You got a couple Winnipeg and Edmonton and Calgary in NHL. But they take such pride in their professional sports there. That atmosphere will be one of the most electric, and like I am jealous of the people that get to go watch it. I don't care if you're in the nosebleeds. I hope the weather's good enough that they open the dome and have the Toronto skyline overlooking, because it is one of the coolest places to watch a game. I'm a Dodgers fan, right? So obviously I'm rooting for the Dodgers, but coaching in Toronto, I did fall in love with the Blue Jays as well. The only baseball jersey besides Tennessee I own is a Blue Jays jersey. So I'm not upset at either team winning is what I'm getting at. That's why I want for baseball fans, Game 7, extra innings, not an 18-inning game, but like 10 or 11 innings, because the season's over after. And like I said, I don't know any other two teams that would have been this exciting to watch in the World Series matching up together.
The Orioles, of course, the Orioles.
Yeah, I'm with you. But think about the storyline though, because who did Ohtani come down to? Dodgers and Blue Jays.
It was over a hat. Trevor, did you know that? He was signing with the Blue Jays. Ohtani was in Toronto, was signing with the Blue Jays, and something happened, and he had to leave the room to go get a hat, and it was a Blue Jays hat that somebody had forgotten. When he walked out of the room, his agent got on, or they called the Dodgers called his agent. No, the manager of the Dodgers called his agent and said, "Don't sign." Don't. He said, "Man, we're here. We're about to." He said, "Don't sign."
Can you imagine him on the Blue Jays?
Over a hat, the guy forgot the hat, and they had to leave the room.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, this is
that organization, I'm sure.
Yeah, not a good day for that guy.
So
I love this matchup. It's been fun to watch. Obviously, I did fall asleep during the 18-inning game. I did.
Can I tell you my story, boys?
Well, I was going to say, what a fitting, hopefully not ending, but also from a movie script, what an ending for Clayton Kershaw if he doesn't pitch again, to come in the bottom or the top of the 12th.
Yeah.
Bases
loaded.
And I know 3-2 count, bases loaded, extra innings, and gets the final out to obviously extend the game. Like what a storybook ending for a guy that's played his whole career in LA.
And I know how much respect you have for him.
Yeah, like he's fun to watch. He is. So there's just so many good stories in this World Series that it's just you can't help but get enamored by it.
So who has advantage tonight in Game 5, and then we'll move on?
Dodgers. I think so. One, if you look at Game 1 to Game 2, Ohtani struggled 1, lit it up 2, right? Or played real well Game 2, lit it up Game 3.
No, what do you mean played real well? 4 for 4.
That was Game 3, though. That's what I'm saying. Lit it up Game 3.
4 for 4.
Game 4, not his best outing because short rest. Seems right now 1 out of every 2 games, he's a game changer. And tonight, he's obviously not on the mound. I think Dodgers have the advantage. They know it's their last home game of the season regardless. I think the crowd's going to be just outstanding. I look for a close game, but I think Dodgers pull this one out late with like a 5-4 ball game or something.
Yes. I think it's going to be a good one. And, and the other night, it ended at exactly 3 a.m. our time.
And
I got up at 3:05, got in the shower, said there's no sense in sleeping now. I was at the office by 4 and didn't go to sleep until last night after game 5 or game 4. So anyway, there's a lot. I don't know if you guys, and it's good, and Jonathan will understand. It has really been exciting in our group text to have Lloyd back in service with us, Lloyd Van Horn. And
Yes.
for those of you that remember the Mountaineer, Lloyd, the Mountaineer newspaper here, Lloyd back in the day was the Swami and did all his picks. And Lloyd kind of has gone silent on us in the last few years, and he has reemerged. And he would be on here with us from New Orleans tonight, except for he's taking his mom to the Paul McCartney concert in New Orleans tonight.
Nice.
So that's cool. So Lloyd is kind of he's Trev. Did you see any of his text today
I did.
about what So let's kind of bring people up. First of all, LSU, and we're going to have to dive into this when we talk. This is some stuff because. Let's go over the openings right now. The coaches' positions that are opening. You got Florida. Well, okay, but you got Florida. You got Penn State. You got Virginia Tech, which is a premier job.
Mm-hmm.
And if the right person goes there, Virginia Tech can be year in and year out elite. And compete for national championships. I think you're going to have Florida State open. I think you're going to have the University of North Carolina open. There's a possibility that you're going to have NC State open. There's a possibility, and I know that both of you, unless I'm wrong, feel very strongly that there's going to be opening in Clemson, South Carolina.
Yeah, that by his own doing, though.
Yeah, I know they're not going. But right now, all eyes are in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and all eyes have switched to Oxford, Mississippi, where the Ole Miss Rebels are stationed out of. And I've got it here. I've got the thing. I didn't want to bring it up and put it on our show here. But there was a private jet that was rented so nobody can track the name that mysteriously appeared and flew. Was it like 6 something this morning, and it flew from Baton Rouge back to Oxford. Somebody spent the night in Baton Rouge, Louisiana last night, and they had to deliver that individual back to Oxford, Mississippi.
Well, not necessarily. They could have been going to visit Lane. They could have been going to visit.
Yeah. We're gonna go visit the metropolis of Oxford, Mississippi from Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Get it. All right, but hear me out. The game has changed forever in college sports. Me and Trevor were talking about this earlier. It's from here on out. Let's call it like it is. The governor of Louisiana has now publicly stated he is involved. That the athletic director will not be making this hire. That essentially he will be making this hire.
What an idiot!
No, meaning this is the first of possibly many. If the University of North Carolina or NC State, they are state schools, public schools. Tennessee, Penn State, Ohio State, you know what I mean? Like those schools that are public, Florida State, Michigan State, these places, this might set a precedence that politics and politicians start getting involved and sitting in on these meetings of hiring football coaches, which is completely and utterly wrong to me, because you don't have anything to do with the university. You're the governor of the state. This is going to be the first, and I'm not saying necessarily this year, but it could. They just said Louisiana, the state of Louisiana, not LSU, but the state of Louisiana has set a precedence now that the politicians in that state now can have a say-so in who the coach is or is not. And that is not why we voted in politicians. We did not vote them in to hire and fire college football coaches.
Yep.
We did.
Trevor,
Precedent.
Trevor, what's your thoughts?
Dangerous precedents.
It is.
Yep.
It doesn't matter which side it does not matter which side you lean on.
Yeah.
Because let's just say me and Trevor think differently. And Trevor's the best football coach in the world, but I'm the politician. And he is the next up-and-coming guy. But we don't think politically the same. I'm not going to hire him.
I'll take it a step further. So I'm gonna blank on his name, but who's the former Auburn coach that got into politics?
Shouldn't have said it.
Oh, yeah, we know who it is.
You know who I'm talking about. Yeah, Tuberville. Let's say he's the governor. You think he's going to get Bama the best possible hire?
Exactly.
Yeah, football coach. This is a dangerous precedent to be setting. I don't care what side you sit on, but let's call it like it is. Everybody's got a little fan in them, and you get into a politician that graduated from UNC Chapel Hill. Well, by golly, the state's going to spend the most money to get the best possible coach you can get at UNC Chapel Hill and every other publicly funded school.
Is not.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Not really
So-
our priority now. That's not good.
So let's get back to the football part of it. Right now, I think that all parties, and I think that you two, and I know that Jonathan believes that Lane is going to end up at LSU. Now, the problem is he's got a chance to compete for a national championship this year at Ole Miss.
Doesn't matter.
He can't leave right now. They're going to have to
But
play it out.
I know, but nobody, the only person that can get hired at this moment is an unemployed coach. So it doesn't matter. Nobody's getting hired, and we'll get to this one down the road. Virginia Tech may hire somebody from some reports today, but the person they're hiring does not have a job at the moment. They can legally hire. So it doesn't matter. When they can announce it is when LSU season is done. Then they go, oh, we're hiring Lane Kiffin. He'll be here when he's done in the playoffs.
So who's going? All right, boys. Who's going to be the head coach right now? Who's going to be the head coach at LSU?
Lane Kiffin. I'm telling you.
Lane Kiffin.
Really?
Yes.
And 3 days ago, I didn't believe that.
We're blank checking here.
But I'm leaning more and more that way.
Listen, you didn't think Fraudulent State University was FSU. I talked you into that one. Now you're admitting he's getting
or that in week 4 when I said LSU is a fraudulent team, and now we're searching for a new head coach.
You see what I'm saying?
We're number 3 in the country. I said they're frauds, and everybody went, "Oh no, there's no way."
And so what I'm getting at though is here's how I think this plays out personally. And Trevor, we've talked about this before. No coaching hire in the past 12 years has been strictly on who is the best guy for my job. It has been Jimmy Sexton behind closed doors. Notice every time there's an opening, somebody getting fired, we'll say it that way. Then Jimmy goes and gets his people an extension by threatening they're going to a new school. So then school A that is looking for the new coach can't hire coach A from school B because his buyout's too big, and the agents can pawn their way to who they want, getting the jobs. Okay? Why do you think – I'm not dumb. I've been around this game a long time, and I've been around that business a long time. How do you think it got leaked that the University of Florida offered a 6-year, $81 million contract? Who's Lane's agent? Jimmy Sexton.
He's
Oh my
everybody's
God.
agent. He's every
That's my
coach's agent.
I know that. So why do you think it got leaked that it was 6 years, $81 million? And what did I put in our group text? It'll cost LSU $100 million for a head coach. And what did Lloyd say? Oh, you're right. That's what we're hearing down here from the governors, $100 million. I'm not stupid. It's going to cost him $100 million fully guaranteed, and it's going to be at minimum. It's going to be 6 years, $100 million, or 7 years, $100 million.
Let me stop you both real quick because Jason, Jonathan, and I miss you, buddy.
I'm talking about Lane real quick. I know what you're saying, but
Okay.
listen, it's going to cost $100 million. Dan Lanning is not leaving Oregon. They got Nike money.
You don't think so?
No. Why would you leave Oregon? Oregon. When has Oregon? Let's call it. When has Oregon ever been relevant? Truthfully, Dan, what he has done. That's my point. Why would he leave? Phil Knight came on the record and said, "I will spend every dollar I've got to win a natty. You have a blank check. You'd be stupid to leave that. I'm just saying, you're stupid if you leave that." But what I'm saying with Lane, though, how do you think it just so happened that the Florida money got leaked, and then now there's jets going from Baton Rouge to Ole Miss, blah, blah, blah. Lane is the number one choice. He is going to have to say no. He has said, "Oh, I won't take it for the money." Well, listen, I like Lane. I play for Lane. I'm friends with Lane. But do you think anybody at that level tells the truth? How do you think they get the recruits there? You think any coach at any school at that level sits there and goes, "Hand on the Bible, swear to God, I'm telling the truth," and it is accurate? No. You give a man $100 million, deuces. I'll see you tomorrow. Ask what's his, because here it goes. You'll see why I'm saying this. Coach O, he did a radio show the other day, and they said, "Would you be LSU's head coach?" He goes, "Yeah, I'm one call away. I'd be there tomorrow. I'd take that money." So here's what I'm getting at. What was else in that interview? If anybody heard it,
Yes.
the guy goes, "This is ESPN radio. Would you be an assistant coach and D-line coach for Lane Kiffin?" He goes, "Yes."
Yes.
Who do you think is coming to town? Who's the best recruiter in the country? Ed Orgeron. Who's the second best? Lane Kiffin. You pair them up again for the third time? Get your mind right, SEC. You don't want that. I'm just telling you. None of us. I don't want that. Thank God they're not one of our 3 permanent opponents. Truthfully. Because if it all goes back to the precedents that the politicians have made. There's only one way Lane doesn't go. If he doesn't get the demands that he wants from the governor about guaranteed this, guaranteed that, NIL this, NIL that, and the state is now going to have to open up their pockets. This is a bad precedence all around. All around. But now it is the precedence because the governor's gotten involved, and Lane's not an idiot. His agent's not an idiot. And they will get what they want if they're going to go. And talks have been heating up. Oh, by the way, who's Lane's girlfriend's boyfriend or Lane's daughter's boyfriend? LSU starting middle linebacker. Oh, my God. Whose daughter loves the city of New Orleans and wants to build a brand in New Orleans? Lane Kiffin's daughter. She's publicly said it. Because there's too many coincidences. The only way he doesn't go is if he doesn't get the money and the guarantees with NIL and this and that and whatever that he wants. Other than that, he'll be in Baton Rouge.
So Trevor, if LSU, and right now I think we all agree, and I think even the pundits that really don't know a lot, that just scream real loud and act like they do, everyone agrees that right now LSU is the job. Okay. And we had a disagreement before we went on air about the other jobs and kind of rating them. You two would think, or you two say that it's Penn State. So convince me, Trevor, why I should go to Penn State if I am not Lane Kiffin and I'm the other guys.
I mean, you've got all the resources you want. Okay, you're the school in that area. So the recruiting base is already there for you, right? You're fighting in the Big Ten. Let's call it like it is. Is the Big Ten the best conference in the country? No.
No.
They're pretty top heavy, right?
I think it's going to disagree with that, though. I don't think they're the best, but I don't think they're not. I think it's literally a 1A, 1B.
Yeah, I think they're close. I think they're close depending on the year. But, I mean, at the end of the day, Florida, you're competing against every other Florida school to get Florida dudes, and it's not the best place in Florida to be. Let's be really honest about that. You know,
I put Penn State ahead of Florida, Ja.
way ahead.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: who do you think is ahead of Penn State?
I think that Florida State is going to be open. It's going to be open, and I would put Florida State maybe right there with them. And I know that you two are going to laugh at me, and the people that are watching are going to laugh at me. But I'm telling you, if you put the right person in place, because they play in the ACC, Virginia Tech can be a perennial national championship contender.
We agree,
that
but
is the job.
Yeah, but
it is not a. I'm trying. To me, Virginia Tech, and I've said this, is a destination job.
You bet your butt.
I get it, but it is not at this moment. What have they done since Frank Beamer's left to make that an attractive job? Nothing.
I get that. I get that.
So therefore, it's not in the top 5 of open vacancies. It's not. I do think you're right with the right guy, and we all know who that guy is, James Franklin. He is the right guy for the job.
And let me throw this at you that you two that I've read multiple times. Now, it's not going to happen. Jason Taylor, do not have a heart attack when I say this. The word on the street from pretty reliable sources that I trust is that they have gone after Heupel. They have contacted his folks. They have said, we'll pay you whatever. Now, I would not leave Knoxville for Blacksburg.
Well, no, but once again, it's all – nobody's contacted anybody. It's all agents trying to get new contracts. That's all it is. They're trying to get him a new contract. He just signed a new one. But if you're going to sit here and go – and I don't blame him. I do, but I don't, if that makes sense. I don't blame him by going, I'm making $9 million a year. But if old buddy over there is going to get 12, I need at least 11. I need you to get me 11, so you need to do what you do. That's all all right now. That is all that's going on because they cannot hire anybody that's employed.
Well, I threw that out there just to throw it out there in debate. But Franklin's going to Virginia Tech. Do we all agree on that?
And I'm still sitting here trying to figure out, well, what is a better destination than Penn State besides LSU right now? That's open. I'm still trying to wrap my head around that. Again,
Florida State is not open, but when it is, it's
still not.
Florida State is not better than a Penn State job. It's not.
Your brother-in-law is going to cut your tires.
I don't care. I'm calling it like it is. Florida State job is not better than Penn State, at least at this moment. 12 years ago, it would have been, but it's not 12 years ago.
Well, you know I'm gonna change gears.
Tennessee's job 6 years ago was atrocious. Now it's a hot commodity.
I'm going to change things up a little bit here, okay? Because we got to go back and we got to talk about a few football teams as we're headed into week 9. Man, I love what our man is doing at Georgia Tech and what that team is doing. They're 8-0, and can Georgia Tech keep him? That's a big deal. But anyway,
and I quote, he's a Georgia Tech guy. That's his team. He graduated from there. And then what did I say? He'll leave. And now you're on that. Now you're switching.
No, I didn't say that. I'm asking a question.
No, hey, there's your Florida State hire. There's your Florida State hire.
Let me tell you, I'd rather be in Atlanta than Tallahassee to build the program in the NIL way.
And you're going to sit here and say, hold on. So you're saying Florida State is better than Penn State, but you'd rather be at Georgia Tech than Florida State?
Yes. That tells me all I need to know.
Georgia Tech is a better job.
No, you're not. Listen to me.
Lord.
Listen to me. If can you get more money? Where can you get all the stuff that Atlanta? Seriously, Atlanta has to offer.
I know an answer.
State College, Pennsylvania.
A $700 million stadium renovation in State College.
All donor fed. All donor fed.
$700 million. That's
you
why
fired
Penn
your
State's
coach, Trevor. Get off your high horse, son. You fired your coach. You lost 3 out of 4.
No.
Hey,
all that is.
Hold on. First off,
go ahead.
We've lost 4 games by 8 points. Okay, like let's
that
calm
sounds
down.
Familiar.
We're beating Ohio State this week.
Ooh, man!
Right now, 20.5-point favorites. We're winning the game.
All right, let me get back. You guys take me off track. You two turds take me off track all the time.
Well, you said, where would you rather be than Atlanta? And I said, if you're a coach, there. But I'll be honest with you, I agree with you. I would rather be at Georgia Tech than Florida State. I would. 100% I would at this moment. But Georgia Tech hasn't been 8-0 since 1966. Pick up sticks.
The rest of their schedule, they've got NC State and Raleigh this week.
When
they travel to Boston College.
When
they've got Pitt at home.
When
and then they
I don't know if their quarterback's balling right now.
And then they end the regular season at home against Georgia.
Actually, Pitt always pulls off some dumb upset at the end of the year that causes chaos. Could be the one. Could be the one.
Hear me out. If Georgia Tech plays to their level right now, guys, the Georgia Tech game could be for a first-round bye in the playoffs.
100% will be.
Absolutely.
How great would that be?
And last year, that was a double overtime thriller at Georgia.
Absolutely.
Georgia Tech's better than.
So it's really hard for me to, Trevor can answer because he can just tell. But when I ask this, Jonathan, he's either going to throw up in his own mouth or if they go into that game and they're undefeated, who are you pulling for, boys? Who are you rooting for?
Georgia Tech.
Yeah, there's no way Jonathan can say the Bulldogs.
No, I'm wearing freaking honeycomb hat or something. Let's go Georgia Tech.
That's a yellow jacket. They don't produce honey, so we'll have to work on that part.
Oh my God! Oh my God! You two.
They have the helmets right there.
The thing.
No,
it's on their helmets.
It is.
I'll give you, man. And I usually don't defend him.
It's not honeycomb though. It's a yellow jacket.
No, not. They have alternate helmets there, Trevor.
I know. They don't put honeycomb on their helmet.
Most schools have more than one helmet, Trevor.
Oh, I just, blue stripe, sometimes the number, it's a classic. Don't need anything else.
Staying in the ACC, we need to kind of speed up a little bit. Hey, man, how about Virginia? 4-0 in the conference, 7-1 overall. Hey, good for them. Good for Virginia.
They started with the beat down of Florida State, and they've kept it going. Called it. And
then, dear God, then you got Pitt that's 6-2 and 4-1 in the conference, and the team that you need to me that everybody better just sit back and go, is Louisville. They're 3-1 and 6-1. Brom does a good job. That's a good football team, boys.
He's gone after this year.
I hate to say it, but he actually could be legit.
And then
he's turned Louisville back into going, oh man, we got to play Louisville. Like, we better watch out. I know it's his own honor, but money talks. He could take a job that somebody is leaving for another job type thing.
Ole Miss.
Maybe.
It could be. In the Big 12, you got
BYU, baby.
You got the Cougars of BYU. They're 8-0 and 5-0. Then you got Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati's better than them. I think Cincinnati's the best team in the Big 12. They're 5-0 and 7-1.
They're about to get drugged by Utah this weekend.
Texas Tech is playing pretty well. You got Houston, and then you got Utah, and I think the story in the Big 12. And we don't have a lot of, we need to discuss it, Jonathan, but we don't have 30 minutes to discuss it. I think that Coach Sanders, Deion Sanders, I believe his health. He's had 2 blood clot procedures during the season, 2 weeks ago. And when I saw his press conference the other day, that dude does not look healthy.
I
think he's really, really sick.
I've been saying it for a month that at the end of the year, I think he is going to I think he's just going to step away and watch his son play football and enjoy it because his health matters. Now, if you want to talk about a coach, he's probably the only one in college football that's not a douche when it comes to telling the truth. Truthfully.
Yeah. But I just don't see his health allowing him to continue. I mean,
no, that's what I said. I said it a month ago. He's going to be
I'll
done.
tell you can screw around with a lot of things. You don't mess around with blood clots.
No.
Because it doesn't make no difference how many touchdowns you scored. Your butt's out of here.
Whether he's coaching at Colorado or not, wherever he's at, I'm rooting for whatever he's doing because I think he's a stand-up human. He treats people. He teaches them how to be grown men. Teach them how to be fathers if they have a child, how to save their money. So I'm a fan of Deion. Obviously, I hope his health is okay, but only time will tell. And
now we're going to talk the big boys, the big boys. The Big Ten. You start with Ohio State, and man, they're good, but are they as good as they were last year?
I don't think. I think they're the best in the country, but I don't think they're as good as last year. No.
I think it's tough because their quarterback is so young, but I think last year's team was.
And they got the noon game on Fox. They're hosting Penn State at noon in the what do they call it? The Horseshoe up there.
The Horseshoe.
That mediocre football stadium. Because those stadiums up there don't compare with SEC stadiums. Sorry.
Time out. Now, Penn State Stadium now, you can talk all the mess you want about the Horseshoe. Penn State holds more people than any of the SEC schools.
Absolutely. They look good playing 3 and 4 football in there.
But it's also one of those that when you ask every ex-player when they do polls, Neyland gets voted the hardest to play in. So cool, you hold 3,000 more.
By SEC football players, ask the Big Ten players, and they say it's Penn State.
No,
but anyway,
they did it from professional players, not just SEC. Penn State
my question is this:
Can
Penn State compete with them this week, or is this just a blowout?
Here's the thing: it goes one of 2 ways. Okay, and this is take the fan out of it. It goes one of 2 ways. One is Penn State's roster as talented as anybody's out there. Before the season started, that's what everybody thought, right? There's some holes at offensive line. It's tough, whatever. And Drew Aller's out. They're going to be early. Grunkemeyer did not look good against Iowa. And if he struggles, it's not going to go well. But if he takes a step up off after a bye week, I think got as good a chance as anybody of beating Ohio State.
Hold on just a second. Hold on. First pitch of the game. The dude just hit a solo homer for the Blue Jays, 1-0, wearing a total powder blues too, baby. 1-0 after 1 pitch off of Snell. Okay. And then you got the second-ranked Indiana Hoosiers with Coach Sig traveling to College Park to play the Terps of Maryland, 4-3. Look.
That's your squad.
They're good. I mean, you got to say, look, all joking aside, Indiana's pretty darn good.
Let's talk about Maryland.
No,
Maryland's
that's Coach
football.
Matthews. He fears the Terps. But, man, Indiana is just good. And I think it's really hard to keep saying that they're not, because they are. Boys?
We'll see when the spotlight's on them, like, big time. Like that win against Oregon, obviously that's a massive win. When you look at – here's how I try and look at it. If Penn State's as bad as everybody says they are, then Oregon's not that good because they struggled heavily against Penn State to just get out.
Real quick, though, they went back-to-back home runs. It's 2-0.
Oh,
Dang gum, boys.
good Lord.
Like 3
but-
pitches, 2 homers.
So, but I'm gonna disagree with that statement though, Trevor, because Penn State was,
As up for that game as any game they're going to be this year.
yes, exactly. It was the whiteout game, all this stuff, blah blah blah. But I disagree. Oregon, to me, Oregon is now. Did Indiana beat them? Yes, but let's call it like it is. Oregon is used to doing what Drew Aller does. I always called it. I always
Which
say
Reller did.
No,
Has
I'm
to be,
laughing
exactly.
at Trevor because he's drinking one of those drinks that'll like kills your inside.
But it's Drew Aller used to always, make that random play. You're like, what was that? Or like
Yep.
you said, Trevor, it would always come in and ruin somebody's season. Oregon always has a game that you go, what was that?
The hell was that? Yeah.
Yes. Now, granted, it was to a ranked Indiana. I get that. But they are better than Indiana. They weren't that day. Does that make sense? Ohio State got beat by Oregon last year and then won the Natty. So it's are you better in that given Saturday? We'll say it that way.
Yeah.
But go back and talk about Indiana.
Penn State is going to get ugly this weekend because they're depleted roster now. It's not going to be pretty. Say it that way. Then Indiana, I know that you're all on the Indiana train. Like, yep, Indiana.
No, I just
Indiana,
think they're good.
I get it, but you also said last year that they were deserving of the playoffs. They were not deserving of the playoffs. It showed.
Well,
very
this is
early.
this year. This is this
I know
year.
that. But you have been on their bandwagon for a long time now. Maybe I'm the ultimate Indiana hater. I don't know. I don't think that they are. I don't think they're as good as what they are showing at the moment, which is fine. I think when they play the quote unquote year in, year out big boys, because we said this earlier, yes, Oregon is up right now. Oregon is a premier job. Oregon is not a historical blue blood. They're just not. Right? Could y'all agree on that?
Absolutely.
Oregon is not a blue blood in college football. They're not. With that being said, yes, they beat Oregon, but Oregon is always going to Oregon at one time. When they start playing the Ohio States, right, it goes downhill quick for Indiana. When they have to play the Ohio States or the typical Michigans, because I might be the minority here. I think Michigan will be looking for a new coach sometime soon. Maybe not this year, but probably next year.
Here's the thing with them though. Right now, it's going to be playoffs because they play Maryland. They play Maryland Saturday. Then they turn around and play at Penn State. And Penn State is depleted. Then their last 2 games are Wisconsin and Purdue. They don't play.
I get it. No,
it's playoffs.
They're going to
find out.
They're going to go to playoffs, but they also benefit from a not overly strenuous schedule, just like
That's
Vanderbilt.
what I just said.
And so I'm not sold on Indiana. I've never
Okay.
have been. Now, do they play well? Yes. Do they play hard with emotion? Yes. Are they well coached? Yes. But have they been tested? No.
No. But I'll tell you
Bottom line.
one thing that they do that all good football teams do, and it's really obvious. You can have, to me, football boils down to the Jimmies and the Joes, and you can have all the skill guys in the world that you want. You ain't got nobody up front. You don't have a hell of a lot. They play really well up front. They have a chance every week because they play well up front. And that's why all the other stuff with SIG, it's just like the, you know, I just know that those dudes from tackle to tackle can compete with anybody in the country. And when you play tackle to tackle, you got a chance to compete every week.
I would not say
if you don't, you don't.
Not say they could play with anybody. I'm just saying I would not state that at all.
Okay.
Now, I'm just saying. Think about it. Hear me out. Old Dominion, Kennesaw State.
This ain't Old Dominion.
No, hear me out. Old Dominion, Kennesaw State, Indiana State, Illinois, Iowa, Michigan State, UCLA, and they beat Oregon. Is there anybody in there that you go, damn, they got a premier D-line? No. They haven't played anybody that challenges them tackle to tackle yet. Does that make sense? When they played Ohio State, then you're going to go, oh, I'm either going to eat my words or it's going to show they're not with the big boys. Does that make sense?
We'll
find out in Indianapolis in the championship.
All jokes aside, Penn State has a damn good defensive line. We'll find out next week about tackle to tackle.
Yep.
Like I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer. I'm being a realist. Old Dominion, Kennesaw State, Indiana State, because that was your first 3 games. You should you should beat the crap out of those teams. Great. That sounds all cool to go Google me. Well, I can Google Kennesaw State too and understand that they're trash.
Okay. All right. We're moving on because you can't, you always go to the place that you just can't help yourself.
I'm a realist when it comes to that.
Okay. In the SEC this week, number 9 Vanderbilt is traveling to number 20 Texas.
They're not number 20.
And
what they are ranked at Texas is not good.
In what realm would we sit here and go? I mean, what galaxy would we sit here and go? You know, Vanderbilt's probably going to win this football game.
Texas is on the same path as Penn State at this point. With all the noise about Sarkisian going to the NFL and reportedly reaching out to the Titans himself to say, "Hey, yeah, I'm interested if you guys open up a job here."
You mean Jimmy?
I don't feel good about that. I don't feel good about that.
Well, let me just ask you guys this, so we won't have a long, drawn out debate. They're playing. It is the ABC game. It's noon on ABC. Vandy at Texas. Who wins the football game? Tell me the winner.
I think Vandy wins it by 2.
By 2 touchdowns?
No, by 2. By 2 points.
Okay.
I'm going to take Texas, but here's the thing. It doesn't matter how long we talk. It's our show. I'm gonna do this again. Charleston Southern. No, hear me out. Charleston Southern. Virginia Tech, coach fired. South Carolina, boo-boo. Georgia State, Utah State, LSU, coach fired. Missouri, quarterback broke his leg. Alabama. Oh, the only good team they played is Alabama and they got beat. So I don't want to hear all the crap, but Vandy's freaking Vandy. Right? Same thing with Indiana. No, same thing with Indiana. They are subject to a very weak schedule. You can look at the schedule preseason. We talk about it every time. Schedules don't mean crap till the end of the year and understand how many ranked teams you did or didn't play. If Missouri's quarterback doesn't break his leg right before the half, that game's over. Missouri wins. But Texas is not Texas this year. But I do think that Sarkisian is a damn good coach. I called Florida beating Texas. I'm going to have Texas beating Vandy this week. Because if you think about it, Auburn's not very good. Kentucky's god-awful. If Vandy does win, then Vandy's going to run into Tennessee and Knoxville for a chance to make the playoffs and get absolutely boat raced.
Let me ask you a question, Jonathan. And this is kind of because one day when you write your book, I'm going to be interested. I'm going to be interested to read the things that I already know. I want again, I don't want to spend a ton of time on it, but
the more you say that, the more I'm going to talk about it.
Your junior year at Tennessee, you were hurt, and you never told a soul, and we never told a soul. You were hurt. You were hurt pretty good. Like if people go back and you look at photographs of you in 2008, you literally had a cast on your foot, on your ankle from preseason on. So, but that's another story. All the stuff with Art, I still think that the Manning kid is hurt. I think they put him in a horrible situation by making him out to be the greatest thing since sliced bread 1,000 times over. I think the kid's been hurt. I don't think he's the best quarterback in the country. I never thought that he was. But I think that the things that people did to him were unfair, and to walk into those expectations and to do it with the light of the country on you when you're injured on top of that, that makes for a tough, long year.
Well, we don't know that he's injured.
Well, he is
for sure. I do think he's got shoulder problems, but it's nothing. I mean, he's obviously playing through it. He's either whatever it may be, but bottom line is, when your last name's Manning, that's what you're going to get. You're going to have instant, automatically Heisman. You're the Heisman front runner. You're this, you're that. It is what it is. You play at the University of Texas, you're going to get that. Oh, and your last name's Manning. What else do you want? And I think he's handled it well.
Oh, absolutely.
I think Sark has done a great job with that team. Because if you hear like their safety, what's his name?
I know who you're talking about.
His interview after the Kentucky game. I was like, guys, it's really hard to win in this league. It's all three phases of the game, blah, blah, blah. Then you get the other he was a defensive player. I don't know which one it was. And he said, hey, well, how does it, how do you feel about you guys on defense having to win these ball games and keep it close, all this stuff? And he goes, oh, it's not the defense. We have an offense that has our back. We have special teams that have our back. So I think Sark's done a great job managing the media craziness around Arch. And the locker room has fully – that you can tell for years they've completely bought into Sark. It's not going to be easy for any kid that your last name's Manning and you play at a blue blood school. You see that logo, you know what it is. No matter what, you know where that is. You see burnt orange, you instantly think University of Texas.
Ugly orange, but yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? So I think all around, I think Arch has done a good job managing expectations and not meeting them and not wavering and not being a cancer on the sideline or this or that, but just being one of the guys in the locker room. Because ultimately that's what he is. He's a starting quarterback at the University of Texas, and he's just another guy in the locker room.
And kudos to him for that.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, I'm saying all that to say, like, I root for him. Do I think he's a Heisman front runner? No. Do I think he's a Heisman winner? No. Do I think he should win the Heisman before he leaves college? Probably not. But it also depends on each year. Do I think he is a better quarterback than the kid at Vandy? No doubt. The kid at Vandy plays backyard football. But people are out here saying that he should win the Heisman. So if he should win the Heisman, then yeah, put Arch's butt back in there. You know what I mean? Like the Heisman's gotten to the point where it's just who's the most popular player on the media's favorite team nowadays.
You mean like the ESPN award? It's not really the Heisman anymore.
Yes.
It's whoever
Yes.
ESPN picks. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. So anyway, Georgia and Florida down in Jacksonville. You got to go Georgia. I think I don't think there's much to say about that. I think the kid and Trevor, the kid playing quarterback for Georgia, has exceeded my expectations because I did not expect him to play this well. And kudos to him. He's played really darn well.
Done what he needs to do on a really good football team.
Yep. And he's tough. He's
Yeah.
just an old country boy that's tough.
Yep.
And he's fun to watch. I think the next head coach, Arkansas and Mississippi State are playing at 4:00 on the SEC network, and somebody could, if Franklin doesn't go to Virginia Tech, is Franklin going to be at Arkansas? Is that
No.
just a yes or no question?
Nope.
No.
Why would you keep Paterno? And I wouldn't.
I wouldn't. I just don't. When you start hearing the reports come out about the lack of support in NIL and this and that, and your biggest booster is Walmart, for God's sakes. You got the money. Bring people to Arkansas. You have the money. The Waltons they built the baseball stadium. They've got
Yep.
Walmart on the field. Get them the money. Get the
Yep.
program the money. But from when you hear the reports from the last staff that the money's not there, this and that, who would want that job? It may be his by default. Truthfully,
Yeah,
depending on where you're at as an OC, you may have it better as an OC somewhere on a good program than going there as a head guy. Ask Chad Moore.
Man,
Arkansas is way too much of a step down for Franklin, in my opinion.
7 o'clock on ESPN in Oxford, Mississippi. I think a certain guy landed back up there this morning for practice. Ole Miss is hosting South Carolina.
That's not how it works. They go to him. He doesn't go to them.
Somebody went there. So, but anyway, Ole Miss and South Carolina, you got to go Ole Miss. But, South Carolina plays really good defense. They just haven't been able to score.
They're going to get drugged this week after an emotional letdown against Alabama.
Yeah, had the game won.
That game might be out of hand.
God Almighty, had the game won and gave it away.
Yep. Just
freaking gave it
absolute
away.
emotional letdown. This is the type of game, where Ole Miss, you think there's a whole bunch of noise going on that's going to bother them. They could come out and win this game by 3 or 4 touchdowns, and I wouldn't be surprised.
Maybe I'm wrong, but typically, that's all like it is. FSU. I think any game from here on out that Lane's got a chance to prove a point, I think he's gonna, because right now, even though once again they can't hire anybody officially, I have not talked to him about it, all that stuff. I don't know. I'm reading between the lines, and I'm reading between the fact that if he's going to go, this is the year to go because his son's a sophomore in high school and still have 2 years of high school to move to Baton Rouge.
Yep.
Instead of doing it with only 1 year left. What I'm saying all that to say, if he's got a chance to put up video game numbers in anybody thrown out, he's going to, because essentially, let's just call it a month-long interview, I guess you would say. You know what I mean? That's kind of my thing. So if South Carolina is not going to stop him, he might score 60.
Again, yeah.
If he can't stop him, I agree. Their defense is good. I'm just saying if he finds their weakness, which he's really good at, I don't think South Carolina can score many points. Their offense is not very good. Their quarterback has showed to be what I said, a hell of an athlete, not a great quarterback. If they go 3 and out a couple times, best believe he's going to have some trickery up his sleeve to try to get some points on the board like that.
Okay. And the 7 o'clock game on ABC, the 7:30 game on ABC, the Vols are hosting the Sooners. It's going to be wild. It's going to be loud. Is it the blackout, Jonathan?
It's the blackout, but the fans, it's hilarious. The fans are so mad that they're wearing white gloves. You know why you wear white gloves?
Because their jerseys are white. Your opponent's jerseys are white.
So you can't. So you wear the color of your opponent's jersey if possible, because you hide holding calls.
Yep.
So that the fans are pissed, but it was a strategic deal.
Who cares if the fan? Let me just say this: I could give a crap less if any fans pissed. Most of them are morons and idiots. Okay,
I get it.
Go ahead.
But we're fans talking about it right now. So
yeah,
you know what I mean. I'm just, but that's other than that. I know they're encouraging everybody to wear black and do the blackout too. It'll be wild. The Tennessee's biggest weakness is their secondary. Their second weakness is they struggle with QB spy on a mobile quarterback. Well, Mateer can run around.
You like him. He's good. I think you like everything about Oklahoma's quarterback.
That answers my question then, because I'm sitting here wondering why the over-under on that game is 56.5. That both teams are going to score 4+ touchdowns. I'm like, what are we doing here? Track me, Tennessee wins.
100%. But now the only thing
wins.
I agree. The thing that I guess the part in Tennessee's favor is that you just didn't see his hand being overly healthy last week when he was gripping a football. And Tennessee, regardless what any fan wants to say on the halftime and postgame shows that I do, our defense leads the nation in pressures, tackles for loss. We get a crap load of turnovers. We're just not – it's not the scheme. It's the secondaries. We got 2 starters hurt. And at this point, one of them is an All-American. I don't see him playing this year now. At this point in the season, I think he's just going to go, cool, I'm going to the draft. I'm going to hang it up. McCoy, the guy from Oregon State. That's what I think. But if we don't get pressure and make him throw the ball early, they'll be able to move the ball on us. But they cannot cover – we got 3 receivers that can all go for 130+. Honestly, we did it last week.
Let me ask you this real quick. Is this a first team to 35 wins?
No, I think it truthfully, I think, and not 35, I'm going to say probably last Saturday I said I said 35-21 or something like that. Tennessee, but I truthfully think this could be like a 45-35 game.
Dang.
I mean, I really do, because Tennessee can score like that.
Yep.
They found their rhythm at running back. If the number 0 Davis is back at tight end, we got 2 tight ends that can play. One is our sure-handed Ketzelman. He's sure-handed tight end guy. They got 3 receivers that any one of them can go over the top. They can play offense with anybody. Where we struggle, once again, is not the scheme defensively. It's we're so inexperienced in the secondary because we're starting a true freshman. The guy transferred in and is getting to learn the scheme, and he's thrown in. Both of them are thrown into starting roles. That's our weakness. It really is. We can get pressure. We can rush the quarterback. We can get turnovers. We can do all that fun stuff. But if the quarterback moves out of the pocket at all, we 100% lose contain. Just lose it. That's the part that scares me this week, truthfully, is if we don't keep him in the pocket, it's going to be a long – then it could be – hell, it could be a 50-45 game if we don't keep him in the pocket.
It's fair.
And and we're going to switch gears just a little bit here. Kudos to Coach Bell and those guys over here in Cullowhee. Started out the season tough. They're now 4-0 in the conference. Mercer's probably one of the best teams in that division in the country, and those two guys are fighting it out for the SoCon championship. And kudos to them.
What?
And
I don't hide it. I'm a big boy. I don't hide it. Go Mercer. Yeah, I said it.
Because we got to because we don't recruit our kids.
They don't. No, it's not even. They don't recruit local. When you have a quote that says I can justify missing on a kid from Florida, then Western North Carolina, you don't have my respect.
Okay.
So
and so a lot of good football this weekend as we get in the last third of the regular season. Who is your surprise team? And I'm going to go Georgia Tech. Tell me your surprise teams, guys, real quick.
I want to do yours too, though. Let's do a good surprise and a bad surprise. Who's your bad
good surprise? Georgia Tech. Bad surprise. And you hate to say it, but I didn't think, this is no disrespect, Trevor. Seriously, all joking aside, yes. I didn't think they were going to compete for a national championship because I just didn't think that they had all the dudes that they needed to do that. But I'm kind of shocked at let me go back and make sure I'm going to say the right thing here. Hold on. I am really shocked at how poorly Virginia Tech ended up being. I thought that they weren't going to compete for a national championship, but I thought that Virginia Tech was going to maybe compete for the ACC, and then Clemson. Clemson is, they're 3-4 boys. So my good is Georgia Tech, and my bad, I'll just say it's Clemson. I'll throw it to you two.
Go ahead,
Trev.
Good. BYU. I think I sniffed that out in the third week of the season. I didn't think they were going to be that good.
Okay.
Offensively, they're really, really good. And I think they're going to run the table in the Big 12 and get into the playoffs. I don't think they'll go crazy in the playoffs. I'll say this. I'm 39 years old, getting ready to turn 40 here soon. I've watched a lot of Penn State football, a lot, more than anybody on this show. And this is the second year in my life that I thought we had a chance to win a national championship. Second year of my life. 2017 was the first one. The year Saquon came back, had Trace McSorley. I thought that team, and they lost to Ohio State at Ohio State in a close game, and then the rails fell off. But this is as upset about a team as I've been as a fan, and truly just you think at bare minimum this team sneaks into the playoffs, wins a first round game, and loses in the quarters. But to be 3-4, unranked, James Franklin fired, that's as bad of a 4-week stretch as I think I've endured as a fan.
And real quick, Jonathan, before you give us yours, I'm going to ask you guys a trivia question. What two teams played the first night game in the history of Neyland Stadium, and when was it?
Oh, it's Penn State, Tennessee in 1980-something.
1972 or 3.
72. Okay.
One of those years.
Yeah, down there.
And if I'm not mistaken, the quarterback for the Tennessee Vols is one of my just a hero as a human being, and I love them, is Condredge Holloway.
Tennessee won that game, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Of course they did.
Of course they did.
Of course they did.
Of course.
So, but yeah, it's if you got really honestly, folks, if you're watching this, if you go to YouTube and bring that up, I love going to YouTube and watching what I consider real football. with fullbacks and tight ends and you can hit the quarterback. And, when Jonathan was a quarterback, I didn't want him to get killed, but it didn't bother me to see him get hit. This stuff that they do now, it's sickening to me, the way that they play the game. But anyway, Jonathan, give me your two surprises.
Weirdly enough, same conference. Good surprised, Virginia. I think they've got to be
good pick.
They've got to be, if you go from the last year or the year before, arguably the most improved team in the country.
Yep.
In all the ways, coming from the death of the football players, the season's going bad. They're only winning 2-3 ball games, blah, blah, blah. Now they're 17th in the country? Something like that? No, 15th. Sorry. 15th in the country. Like that. Good for them. So I'm glad. I like their stadium. I think it's a neat place. So I'm glad when they're relevant.
Can I stop you real quick and just tell you they got Cal. Now they got to travel to Cal, and then they got Wake, Duke, and Virginia Tech. They got a chance to end this thing 11-1.
They got a chance to, actually. At the moment, it's looking like Georgia Tech, Virginia, in the ACC championship game to get a bye.
That's terrible for the ACC. No disrespect to those two programs.
No.
That is terrible for the ACC.
Why would you say that?
Well, hold on. Let me finish my other part, and we'll get into that because it's the same conference. My disappointing one, and not disappointing, bad surprise would be Clemson in the sense of I did not think they would be overly great. But the reason I'm saying bad surprise is how badly Dabo's handled it. With call like it is, and that level of business, at that level, nobody cares what you did 7, 8, 9 years ago. They don't. Governors of states are getting involved in the hiring and firing. They care what you do now. And so I feel like Dabo has not handled this well. That's why I don't think Dabo will be there next year. I think he will choose a job that he wants and leave. Now, listen, if LSU does not get Lane, do not think Dabo will not go to LSU. Don't think that won't happen. I promise. And his defensive coordinator would be somebody that's on a hot seat in another SEC school, Brent Venables. But that's a whole different conversation. All right, so that would be my quote-unquote bad surprise. Now, back to what Trevor was saying. You can sit here and go, oh, no, why would you say that all day long? Do you know how much tickets are? When Clemson played in the ACC championship game, when Clemson played last year against SMU, how much were tickets? I looked them up on Ticketmaster because I got bored one day, right when it was happening. Because I every year I think it's comical on SEC versus ACC championship game ticket prices.
Yeah.
They were $8 to go watch Clemson SMU. You think anybody's going to want to go watch Georgia Tech, Virginia? And I'm not being mean. I'm glad those programs are doing well.
That's a good story.
It doesn't matter. The story doesn't pay the bills. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm getting. It's great for those two programs, but that is not good for that conference to keep members from wanting to leave that conference. It's not Georgia Tech, Virginia ACC championship game does not bode well for the ACC getting more than one team in the playoff.
Yep. Might as well be Stanford Cal.
Now listen, as a fan and a former SEC player, I've said it since Stanford and Cal entered. I want a Stanford Cal ACC championship game because I think it'd be funny because it's in Charlotte. I think it would be absolutely comical to have Stanford and Cal because they would literally go around the city of Charlotte going, "Here's $5 and a ticket. Come on."
You want to go to the game? Here's a ticket.
You know what I mean?
Here's a voucher for free food and beer.
Okay.
Exactly.
Now,
They would.
I'm going to change the subject because you're killing me, boys. You're killing me. All
It's all
right.
valid.
All right. Jason Taylor, if you're still on here, and I don't know if you are, my friend, I want you to comment on this. Number one, Jason, Jason, I did not know. Jason's a Georgia Tech fan too, Jonathan. I did not know he's pulling for he takes his boys down there. He's been to a couple of games down in Atlanta. But anyway, earlier this week, go ahead. I didn't hear you. Earlier this week, might have been yesterday or whatever. I put on my Facebook thing. We're talking about barbecue because listen, Trevor, we're North Carolina people. We are snobs of barbecue. Okay. We are, and we are the kings of barbecue. I don't care. I don't care about Memphis. I don't care about Texas. And I really don't care about Kansas City. I'm sure there are some spots where they're pretty good. But in North Carolina, we are the kings of barbecue. Tell me I'm wrong.
If Georgia's taking Virginia in the ACC championship game, they'll be giving away free barbecue sandwiches.
That's it.
Yeah.
So in North Carolina, so we live now. We are in Western North Carolina, and it is in our red sauce. I love our barbecue sauce here. But if you ask me to pick what barbecue sauce I want, what would you want on your pork? And I'm not talking brisket because brisket is I guess you can call it barbecue, and I make a good brisket. But if you ask me, I'm going to say I like Lexington better than anything because it's a combination with the vinegar base with red in it. North Carolina barbecue sauce, man, vinegar barbecue down Eastern barbecue is as good as anything you'll ever put in your dadgum mouth. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
I feel like there's some context to this, but
no, there is not. I promise you, it's not.
There's a place out in Greenville, North Carolina, right by where I grew up in middle school and high school called Bee's Barbecue. Some of the best barbecue I've ever eaten. I've been to some hole in the walls in Kansas City that rival it. It just is what it is. And then if you get down to Charlotte, just outside of Charlotte, John G's Barbecue is insane, like insane good. But it's Texas based.
No, then it's not insane. We'll fight. We'll have to fight.
But North Carolina vinegar based with a little bit of red. Like Lexington is the way.
What's Jonathan's faith change? And I know that the family. I'm just going to say. I'm going to say the Barbecue Inn.
Yeah.
God rest its soul. The family had to retire. The Barbecue Inn, and if you're in Charlotte, and I want you to listen to me, Trevor. It's off of Independence. It's right off Independence Boulevard. It's called the Barbecue King. It's a little hole-in-the-wall drive-in off of – you got to be careful when you're there. You want to make sure what time of the day you're going or the night. You got to be really, really careful. That is off the charts good. But somebody had told me about, the South Carolina barbecue, and I said nope. And they were talking about that mayonnaise-based stuff down in Alabama. No. And the stuff in Georgia, I don't even classify that as barbecue. That's just crap. The stuff in Memphis is good, and stuff in Kansas City is good. I'm all joking aside. But if you get Lexington barbecue is a combination to me of Eastern and Western North Carolina, and it's God's nectar.
God's nectar.
All right, so real quick. All right, so hear me out. Just hear me out. I agree. Cool.
I'm going to kill you.
ACC championship. Stop threatening people on the internet. ACC championship game. $75 per ticket right now. SEC, the cheapest is $420. There's a difference.
I bet we could get a media pass to the ACC championship game.
Oh, I know I can. I know I can.
I'll
I
live
like
stream
it.
talk. I'm just
Because
saying.
Don't think,
They
we're
don't-
getting, don't think we're getting in an SEC.
Jonathan's not welcome at an ACC
They're going to go,
game.
no, sir.
Yeah.
No. You need to go to Atlanta, son.
No.
No, we've been there, done that. And I'll
No,
tell you,
Listen, we can,
the
guys, we
SEC
can have
championship game.
we
Now,
can-
I don't know that it is anymore, but man, the times that you guys played in it, Jonathan, that was exciting as anything that we'd ever been to.
well, yeah, but I'm just saying we could talk. We could have this normal conversation in Charlotte and not have to raise our voice at all because there's not going to be anybody there.
Wow.
Man,
3 of
not-
300. 3 of
Not-
300 parents. Hey, parents have to come. Parents of the
Fact.
players.
It'll be
Well, but
422.
okay, going back to that, because you're not going to talk about the barbecue stuff. So going back to the ACC thing, where is there any other place that you would have to move the game to, or Charlotte where it needs to be?
No, Charlotte's a great venue for it. I'm saying that's how down the ACC is. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, no,
Yeah,
if it's Miami, Florida State, yeah, I get it. If it's
Take it to the
old,
Big East
old
days. Take it
it's
to the
old
Big
school
East days.
Miami, I get it.
Yeah.
If it's Florida State, Clemson, I get it. But guys, how many times has Clemson won it and played a Virginia or a Duke or a North Carolina? There's no and I'm not taking away the championships. That's all I'm getting at. I'm saying nobody cares to watch that because they know it's going to be a blowout.
that
You know
goes
what I
back
mean?
to what I told you all since you were a little boy. Clemson should be and should have always been in the
Oh, hell
SEC.
no. Stop it. That has nothing to do with it.
They'd have
That's how
that many
bad.
national championships.
Exactly. That's how bad the ACC is what I'm trying to say, top to bottom. And just what it is. I mean, literally, once the teams are known, you can get same thing with the SEC. You go on StubHub or Ticketmaster or SeatGeek or any of those places the day before the SEC championship game and try to find tickets, and it is absurd. You go the day before the ACC championship game, and doesn't matter if Clemson's in it or not, or Florida State's in it or not. If one team if it's not two like powerhouses, you can legit go to that game for $40 a piece. Actually,
Here's all I need to know about the ACC. What conference was SMU in prior to the ACC?
American, wasn't it?
The Mountain West.
Exactly. And they went to the ACC championship game the first year they were in the ACC.
Exactly.
But here, no, wait a minute. That's a debate because the landscape of college football and college basketball has changed. You can literally, if you have the right component and dollars in place, you can turn these programs around quickly. Look at Indiana. Look at Indiana. You can turn these programs around. It's not like it used to be. There's no 5-year plans anymore.
I'm not saying SMU wasn't a bad football team. SMU was pretty decent for 2 years before they joined the ACC, and then they join it, and immediately they're in the ACC championship
right.
game.
You can't use Indiana in that sense because Indiana's been in the Big Ten for God knows how long. What
years,
Trevor's
yeah.
saying is that would literally be like App State going to the ACC and going to Charlotte year one.
It's not a good look.
App's been good for a while. They have. But you're going to tell me that they should be able to go compete against Clemson, Florida State, Miami, Virginia Tech, Syracuse, all those teams? No, but SMU did it. See what I'm saying? Like the answer should have been SMU should not be able to go win the ACC year one. Oh, wait, they're in Charlotte and they had a chance to win the game. That's what we're trying to say is like it's not taking a shot at the ACC. I'm just being a realist. It's the same thing in the Big 12.
Yep.
If you're going to tell me your two best teams are BYU, Cincinnati, and that is who you're bringing to the table, that's not a good look for your conference when you're wanting to have an argument or a really strong conversation about having a multiple teams in the playoffs. That's not a good argument.
That's the reason
So
why the Big Ten and the SEC are trying to branch off and do their own thing for the playoffs.
Yeah. When you bring, in no particular order, Ohio State's, Michigan's, Penn State's,
Oregon,
Wisconsin, Nebraska,
USC.
Oregon, Washington, USC, Tennessee, Florida, Alabama, Auburn, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia. There is a difference. There's an absolute difference. I'll tell you right now. Hold on. I got you. I've got it pulled up. In the ACC, your only 3 ranked teams are Georgia Tech, Virginia, and Louisville. That's who you're bringing to the table. That's who you are 100% going to sit here and die on that hill that you're bringing that to the table. Big Ten.
Miami's ranked 2. Miami's ranked 2. So you got 4.
So then you got Ohio State, Indiana, Oregon, Michigan, USC in the Big Ten. I got to scroll all the way down. Sorry. SEC, you've got A&M, Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss, Vanderbilt, Texas, Tennessee, Missouri, Oklahoma. Guys, when Vanderbilt's up in there, that tells you how bad the ACC is. I'm just calling it like it is. I am rooting for Georgia Tech. I am rooting for Virginia. I am. Because I like what they're doing. But that doesn't mean that the conference is good. And it's such a bad take on the conference for those 2 at the moment to be your conference representatives for a potential first-round bye in the playoff.
Yep.
That's what I'm getting at.
I get you, and I agree. But again, I'm going back. I'm going to take the conference out of it and just talk about the teams. And man, I'm really hoping that Georgia Tech and Virginia are able to make the playoffs. That would be cool.
Oh no, I'm not going to disagree.
Yeah,
I'm just saying that it's not a good look for the conference to sit here and say we want multiple teams in the playoff. Nobody, ain't happening. You're getting your champion in, and we'll go from there.
And then one more thing, we're going to get off, and then we'll get off here, and we'll be back on Saturday with the coaches show. What about Tony going from Tennessee to the San Francisco Giants? Never been done before. You're the head coach at Dodgers hit a home run. So was that a 2-run home run? Solo home run.
Mine's behind, so I'm watching yours and then watching the replay.
Okay, so Tony Vitello is now the manager of the San Francisco Giants, and we talked about a year ago, and I told you, Jonathan, that if I was running a major league organization and I had a chance to get this guy to be my manager, I'd hire him yesterday. I think he's going to do well. I think that it's who you surround himself with in the dugout. He's going to, knowing the game of baseball, he knows the game of baseball. But when you go from 50 to 60 games to 162, that's a grind. But this dude is a grinder, and I think he'll do well in the clubhouse. And I'm not one concerned about any decisions he makes in games or who he'll surround himself with.
The biggest things I've seen, or that I'm curious to see, 25-man roster, 25 in college, 50 games, 162, same amount of pitchers. How is he going to manage his pitching staff? Because he's never had to do it for that many games, right?
He's going to surround himself with a great pitching coach.
I get it, but the pitching coach doesn't make the decision. He does. He makes the decision on when I call the bullpen because it's his butt on the line, not the pitching coaches. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just what it is. I understand what you're saying. He's going to surround himself with a great bench coach and a third base coach, blah, 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 blah. But ultimately, he makes the lineup. He picks the starting pitcher. He picks when I'm going to the bullpen. Those things. That's going to be – I'm interested to see how he does that because I saw a thing with Joe Kelly today. Right, remember the pitcher reliever for the Dodgers was with the Red Sox for a while. I saw it because of the World Series, and he hit the nail on the head. He goes, when you play for the Los Angeles Dodgers, you're playing for the postseason. You're not playing for the 162. He goes, this is why. They know that they're going to be good enough to make the postseason because they built for it. He goes, I signed a 3-year, what he said, it was like 3-year, $30 million deal or whatever it was. And I was healthy enough, but they kept me on the IR. And he goes, Coach, I'm healthy enough. He goes, no. I don't want you healthy enough. I want you at great when it comes to the playoffs. I don't need you to go give up 3 hits. I need you to go be that guy that pitched against us in 2018 in the playoffs. You're here for 1 month a year is all I care about. Those are the decisions that are completely different than college. That mindset now, because he's never had to do it. Now, will he be able to adjust that? I think so. That's not what I'm getting at.
Will he be successful?
I think so. But here's my thing. Sitting here watching this, how can any sports fan or sure as hell coach ever blame a guy by saying, I want to play in front of, don't get me wrong, we got a great atmosphere in Knoxville for baseball. I want to play in front of 8,000 people, or I want to play in that. And I got a chance to play in that, I'm going. Does that make sense? I got a chance to do that right there. And I got a chance to play in front of 30,000 people multiple times a year. And I got a chance to be a part of the Dodgers rivalry series. I'm out. I love you. I appreciate everything you've done. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't blame the guy.
Can you imagine the stuff he's going to stir up?
Oh, I know. But I thought he was going to get more money than he did. No, honestly, I thought he was going to get more money than he did. He's only making – I think he didn't even get a pay raise. So in reality, with the taxes in California versus Tennessee, he might barely break even. But that, the opportunity, the chance to do that, you can't blame the guy. Good for him. I've became a San Francisco Giants kind of fan because I'm a Dodgers fan. So I'm not like, I hope you don't fail, but I hope you don't win the division. You know what I mean?
Well, I'll say this. It's going to be must-see TV with Tony. Because in what he did in Knoxville is, I mean, look, they're putting $100 million into the baseball stadium because of Tony. So good, good for him. And I don't know how much you know about it, Trev, but this dude is he's something.
Yeah.
He's a psychopath, like in a good way, but he's a psychopath as a coach. That's why I like him. Honestly, his players know that he's got their back, that he will quote unquote fight for them, defend them. You know who he reminds me of, and then we'll get off here. You know who he really reminds me of? Who's got the most ejections in Major League history?
The Braves skipper, Bobby.
He's a young Bobby. Think about it.
Or wait a second, he could be Earl.
Yeah.
The only reason Earl doesn't have that record is because he retired him.
Yeah, but I'm just, you know what I mean? Because he's fiery.
Yeah.
Every player in Atlanta wanted to play for him. They wanted to go play and sign in Atlanta because they knew they were going to get defended. He was going to have that passion. Didn't matter his age. I feel like that's how Tony is, and that's kind of my comparison, I guess you would say. Totally different eras, but just from the vibe of how he gets, he's going to chest bump an umpire. He don't care. He will chest bump an umpire and get tossed in a heartbeat and throw hands. It doesn't bother him. But sometimes, as a manager in baseball like that, at that level, high college or professional, sometimes you got to do that to get your team fired up when you're on a skid, when things are starting to slip a little bit. You're on a 15-game lose streak or whatever it may be, and you got to change the mojo, so to speak, and you need to go start something. And he's not going to be afraid of doing that at all.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm pulling for him.
As long as he doesn't,
And,
as long as I'm okay.
well, those will be must-see games from now
Yes.
on. Yep. So anyway, men, thank you. You guys are awesome. Have a good week. I'll see you Friday, and we'll go get her done, and we'll be back on Saturday. Anything you guys want before we get off here?
Nope.
Penn State by 40.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Oh, they might as well get there 40 minutes late to the game, so the score's not bad.
There you go. Something like that.
Hey, Coach Hawkins.
No, you know what? No. Watch this. What's Trevor? What's the spread?
20 and a half.
20 and a half. All right. I've got. Remember, I've called the upsets this year. I was like, no. And I'm like, yeah, watch. Let's go Virginia. Now Virginia's the class of the ACC.
Oh, my God.
I'm dying on that one, guys. I'm taking that one and running with it.
I'm dying on the LSU hate from earlier in the year.
All right, I'm gonna go. I don't think it's a blowout. I got Ohio State 14-11.
14-11. Okay.
Remember that, Trev. That won't be hard to remember.
No.
All right. Guys, have a best week ever. We'll see you guys Friday night out in East Flat Rock.
Sounds good.
All
See
right,
you
guys. Thank you. Have a good night.